Incidentally, yesterday we spoke about how the right wing in this country, led by the NRA, has been falling over themselves, sort of working themselves in pretzels to come up with a response to the Santa Fe high school shooting, wherein it was a hardened target, as they say. There were 2 armed police officers stationed in the school, one of them severely injured by gunfire, none of them able to apprehend the shooter, at least before he killed 10 people. However, the NRA has come up with an answer, ladies and gentlemen, and it is in the form of a fairly glossy corporate video. And here is what they present. What's the name of this again?
It's a school shield program.
The School Shield Program.
Gotta have shields.
Listen, as empty as the National School Shield Program sounds, this is even emptier. These are shots of...
Nothing is more important.
Pause it for 1 second. I would say it starts off with stock footage of schools. First, teenagers are walking in, then it cuts to an elementary school.
Nothing is more important than the safety of our children, which is why the NRA School Shield program has assembled a panel of experts for you to meet and hear their ideas to make our schools safer.
What we're looking at is the entire campus, from the outermost exterior all the way to the inside, and the policies and procedures that you have in place.
Let me start with one
Pause it
premise.
for 1 second. She's one of my favorites. Let's go back to who she was again here. This is Sheila Brantley. She is, of course, the director of the NRA School Shield. My favorite thing about Sheila Brantley is that even in that 20 seconds that she's on air, she actually has to do that tell when people are lying that they close their eyes for an extended period of time because they don't want to look at the person they're talking to because they had to hide. Watch this. Let's count it. I think she did 3 times. Let's get the clock on this. All right, go ahead.
What we're looking at is the entire campus, from the outermost exterior all the way to the inside, and the policies and procedures that you have in place.
Let me start with one premise. The side with the best plan wins. There's a lot beyond army.
There you go. There's the premise. The side with the best plan wins. Think of it as like a duel. Almost, like 2 people who both have guns and they fire at each other, and the one who gets their face blown off loses.
It's the market.
There you go. It's the market of ideas.
In the program, it's really about hardening the target.
We know well what we should know when it comes to teaching and learning. No doubt about it. But in terms of working to create within the schoolhouses a safe and secure environment, we have to think beyond just the curriculum.
The single most
Pause it.
important...
In other words, we have to take time off from the job of educating our students as a way of figuring out how we basically make a bunker out of this school so that we will not be shot in some type of incident.
Best plan wins. Can I add something here? I looked up Sheila Brantley's. I was curious about her background. Before this program initiative, she was from 2012 to 2013 the Advanced Reporting and Budget Manager for the National Rifle Association. And before that, her previous job experience is mostly at something called the Heart Rhythm Society.
Heart
Which
Rhythms?
develops medical education programs for physicians and allied professionals of the Heart Rhythm Society.
What's that?
I don't really know. I just was really curious. Honestly, I was just kind of fascinated how somebody gets to be like the NRA school security coordinator.
Now, Stephanie Menenser, we've had on this program actually many times, wrote a piece in Mother Jones about this plan, and they have images of a school fence. They want to make sure that the fences don't send the psychological message that the school is vulnerable. Like this ordinary school fence. They want the school fence to look more like this prison yard style fence so that students can feel like they are secure, like they would be if they were in prison. Go ahead.
Factors reducing the response time. How long does it take for law enforcement to get to the scene?
The great thing about the National School
Pause
Shield
it.
Security
There you go. How long is it going to take to send the law enforcement to the school in the event that there is a shooter? This is all sort of like predicated on like we need a shooter for any of these plans to work. We need to have someone with a gun. They're also talking about in this plan, no trees. They don't want any greenery around the school because, of course, even though that might be pleasant for the students, it is an opportunity for a would-be sniper to hide behind the tree. They want no parking lots because vehicles can provide...
You don't need parking lots at a school.
You don't want parking lots because that gives potential attackers with a, quote, means of concealing and transporting weapons.
Parking lots and exits are the two main enemies of security.
Now, continue.
The great thing about the National School Shield Security Assessor Training is that it's completely free to communities. We are here to assist if you want to make your schools more secure.
It's a total approach to preparedness and prevention through mitigation, again, response and recovery.
Now, listen, I want you to hear what he just said. It's through mitigation. We're not going to end the problem here, folks. We're not. That's not even the goal. The goal here is to bring the number of people who are shot in any one mass shooting event down by 15-20%. That's basically it. So if you had 10 people shot to death in Santa Fe, we're going to bring that number down to 8. That's what we're committed to doing here.
Recovery. That's a mindset that can be taught to entire staff, entire school.
They bring decades of diverse experiences and extensive expertise, ranging from former Secret Service, former FBI and WMD experts, current law enforcement officials.
Former WMD experts. Just the type of people you want in your elementary school to help with the educational mission.
Current law enforcement officials and former school superintendents. In short, the NRA has assembled the best and brightest people.
Pause it. You know what's amazing about the people they're bragging about? Not one of them seems to have had recent experience, if ever, in actually being in a school, right? Like there's a superintendent of schools, but I would bet that she hadn't been inside that she hadn't been on a day-to-day operational job within a school in 20 years.
Sometimes you got to be bigger than the problem. You got to stand outside of the context to see the solution.
According to the task force report, schools should be designed with an eye toward 1970s era post-riot urban architecture. Windows, if allowed at all, should be designed solely with surveillance in mind. They should be only large enough to peep out to assess ongoing threats.
They should feel like they're in post-coup Chile. And then they'll be relaxed and they can learn.
This is from Stephanie Menemser's piece. Really fascinating. Basically, we're going to create secure prisons and good luck with learning schools.
Nothing that hasn't already happened in many inner city schools, right? Like this is already so race and class based. It's just catching up the rest of the country with the business model.
Exactly. So there you have it, the School Shield program, ladies and gentlemen. At least they're trying, right?
Sounds like a win-win for neoliberalism, right? Like we talked about in that interview, or you did.
You sell the guns, then you make money off of the solution for all the things that you've sold.
Sell the guns, sell the shields,
protective blankets that are bulletproof.
Right, that's like the
children.
The classic joke that I think I can't remember who. I think this came up in some interview I just did.
The aristocrats.
The lawyers. No, the classic joke about the lawyers. Right, one lawyer goes into a small town, puts up their sign, and they think, oh, there's no other lawyers here. I'm going to make a killing. And they don't do any business until the second lawyer comes to town. That's basically it. Boom.
And not dissimilar to the nuclear drills that we had in the Cold War era, it also manufactures consent, I think, for whatever the government wants to do.
Nothing better to teach a student to behave like they're in a prison. If you can't do it for reals.
So you learn how to participate in a democracy.